Everybody, Jason here. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are all having a great day. So today we're up a little bit. Yesterday I think we ended up down about $1,000 by the end of the day, which is pretty ironic actually. I woke up in the morning. Usually I pop open my phone, see where see where I'm at. I was talking to my girlfriend just because I wanted some pullback on Tesla, and I was like, yeah, I'd be super happy being down $1,000 today. And she's like, what are you talking about? So we ended up $1,000 down yesterday. So everything kind of worked out. So one of the things I did want to take a look at, I was looking at this yesterday, just for my own personal self. So I thought this would be helpful for somebody else as well. So these 800, 805 call credit spreads, which those and these, I want to be profitable on these, or at least break even before I start to roll out my put credit spreads. Normally I would do it this Friday because I don't want anything expiring within a couple weeks. Call it greed, call it whatever you want, but I don't want to lose any money on this before I roll things out. So I wanted to get an idea of when I'd be able to do that. Is it going to be tomorrow if the price kind of just stays the same on Tesla? Is it next week? I don't really know off the top of my head. I have a pretty good idea, just after doing this for some time, just kind of how things move, based on the underlying, plus some volatility too. So what I'm going to do with this, just a couple notes here. I'm just going to obviously look at my strike prices. I'm going to look at my expiration date, and I'm going to look at my credit received, this 27 cents. So I want to look at that in Optionstrat to determine approximately when I should be able to close these out for either a small profit, break even, or just kind of like what that looks like. So I'm going to jump into Optionstrat. All right, here in Optionstrat, first thing I'm going to do is go down to build. I already have Tesla as the ticker. I know it's probably very surprising that I use that pretty often. Upper left-hand corner, we can select the strategy here, and what I'm looking at, that would be a bearish call spread. And then I will go and select my my expiration date, and then I need to adjust these to where they match with our strike prices. So we have 800s, 805s. Now this gives me, if I was to open up this right now, we would receive $39 credit instead of the 27 that we got. And it would show my profitability based on that. So I could take some cues from here. I can kind of see, as long as we're following this line here, and this is kind of what's already in my head just after doing this for some time. But if we want to get a little bit more specific, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to value and hit that. And this is going to show the value of the actual option. So since we received a $27 credit, anything lower than 27 is where we're going to be profitable. Now we can head down here to the chart range and make this a little bit more granular. So you can see kind of what that does. That just gives us more granularity on the actual strike prices, or the actual underlying prices here, not strike prices. So what I can see is if basically we kind of stay where we're at over the next day, tomorrow, like tomorrow is just not going to happen unless we drop down to 725. Monday, which I believe are closed, we'll kind of ignore that for Labor Day. So Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, because it's not showing the granularity here, and I don't think there's a way. Nope, I don't think there's an adjustment on that. So what I'm looking at is most likely Wednesday I'll be profitable. Friday, most likely, unless we head up pretty much towards the 750s. And then that following Monday, where we have it expiring at the end of the week, unless we're up above 756, somewhere in there, maybe a 758 or so, we should be profitable. And then by that Tuesday, we're even looking better. So and then of course, unless Tesla does dip down, let's say we start testing that 700 again, then we could be profitable pretty dang quickly. I mean, by Monday, or even let's say tomorrow, we have a pretty big drop down to the 700, so we'd be profitable tomorrow. The only other thing that's really going to affect this is implied volatility. And of course, one of the components of volatility is going to be just the recent movement, or of the underlying. So you have obviously the time component of the calls, and then you have the volatility. And I think I just totally said that wrong. But so we can also grab the implied volatility slider and see how that affects things. So you can see as it goes up, we'll have a little bit more difficult time, like they'll be worth more. But if it happens to settle down a bit, we could become profitable even quicker. I don't expect a huge IV move, but that's how that could affect that. So if we do have a huge drop, in implied volatility could go up if the movement's fast, or if it goes up too. Kind of the same thing there. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody, but this is what I was doing for myself, like I said yesterday evening, and I know it'll be helpful somewhere to somebody. So I think we were at what were we at, like a 30, a 33. So most likely what I'm going to be looking at is holding this all throughout next week, and it won't be until Monday or so that I actually get to close those out and roll out the put side, which is fine. Not ideal. I wanted to move them out this week. So let's jump back into the Robin. All right. And we're looking, and actually all in all, we're looking a lot better. A few days ago, I think this was down, like we had a negative 800. I think I saw a negative 1,000 or so at one point, but we have theta decay on our side here. So didn't make, let's see, did I make a play? I don't want to lie about it. I don't think I made any plays yet this morning. Just a couple of questions that I know I didn't get back to. One was just about like, hey, if I have a smaller account, couple $1,000 account, what would I be looking at doing? And it's the same thing as what I'm doing here, honestly. I started, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago or something, a Tastyworks account. And I started it with $600 to see if I could kind of replicate how I grew this account. And that's been well over 10x. And it didn't take very long, just doing put credit spreads, short period of time. I mean, pretty short period of time to 10x your money. Don't expect it to happen quite as fast. I was fortunate enough to be playing Tesla. Tesla went up quite a bit. I was also playing a lot further out of the money than I do with this account. This is definitely more risky and more actively managed than my Tastyworks. I'll look at my Tastyworks. Now it's been a little bit more often playing some XPX plays, but generally I would forget about it once in a while, and then I'd just get a notification say, hey, you have stuff expiring soon. I'm like, oh crap, I need to jump over there and actually see what I have, roll some things out. So but I was playing in a manner to where I didn't even have to look at it. And also with a smaller account, or any account for that matter, it really matters how much time you have. Like, do you have time to monitor your positions all day long? Do you want to look at it once a day for an hour? You need to set it and forget it. And your risk tolerance too. So for example, with this account, I started this one with $575, and I was willing to lose 100% of it. $575 is not very much, and my thought was, if I pay $575, I lose it all, and I learned something, then that was my cost of learning something. So I mean, fortunately, it turned out very well for me. But I'm also okay, and I'm still okay with that crazy risk tolerance, you know, like I think we've looked at. I mean, even this last month, right, we're up at 187, down to 150. That's a huge move. And when you're first getting started, those moves are absolutely mind-boggling, stomachache, scary, want to throw up, wondering what the heck you were thinking. Like, why didn't I just close all my positions? Why was I so greedy? Hey, I just made, you know, from that From there, when you're just chilling, 178, 188, great, I made $10,000. Why didn't I just close everything and keep all my money? Now I have $40,000 or whatever, $35,000 less than I had. So those can be some pretty crappy moments, especially when you first start playing with it. After a while, you do get numb to it, you do get used to it, and you just 100% see those dips as a buying opportunity or an opportunity to make a play. So starting off with smaller account, I would do the exact same thing. The one thing if I had, depending on how much time I had, put credit spreads. If they're far to the money, I think for the most part you can set it and forget it, not worry about them very much. The other thing I think I would play more often if I sat in front of it all day long or just had more time, I would probably play some more butterflies. So for example, like on Tesla, which we do have a few of them, they did move some things. So if we look at that same monthly chart, right? So we saw this dip from NHTSA. I would have played a butterfly probably somewhere back up in this range, the 720s, which actually we did. But those butterflies, they don't cost very much. So we played one. We actually still have them on if we want to take a look. We played ones for pretty cheap, $100. Let's see, and I think they're expiring 10. Yep, 10/1. We played these for a whole, these were $182, but I could have done them a lot less wide. These are very, very wide plays. So I could have done the same, pretty similar play with similar gains for a lot less money. I could have played it for probably $20, $30 if I wanted to. And then if I monitored it pretty closely, and I could take like 100% gain on that or so. But you can see this is like nice and wide. We have a lot of room to play here. And since we have been hanging around the 735-ish, I see 740 being pretty close to where we should be at in a couple weeks. I would probably play some of those as well. So we are up, we're already 30% on these guys for a relatively cheap play for the potential gains. The gains on this could be 1,000%. So having a little bit of my account into something like that, but I would probably play it $20, $30 or something like that at a time on some long call butterflies when the stock moves down a lot, or when something moves up a lot, you could do a short butterfly as well. That is something that I would play, or a long put butterfly. So those are the couple things I think I would consider doing that. And then just overall, just one thing to think about. So, I mean, you guys have seen how I've done what I've done. You guys have seen my fantastic days. You've seen my very bad days. As far as gains, my bad days, weeks, months, whatever, my good days, weeks, months. Just one thing to consider. This account has only been going on for like a year and a half, which seems like kind of a long time, but in reality, it's not. It's not like 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years of me using these strategies. So it's not really a complete time proven method, or it's not proof to say that everything I am doing is correct or even near correct. Just because I'm making money doesn't mean it was the right thing to do, the safest thing to do, the smartest thing to do, or anything like that. So I'd really encourage you, just learn how to use the strategies. Don't just necessarily follow plays. If you guys want to, fine. But I don't put them out there just for somebody to copy it. I'd rather have somebody understand my reasoning, my thought process behind it. And if you agree with it, great, do the same thing. But some of the best comments I have are, hey dude, you're doing this wrong. And like, this is what you should do instead. There was a guy, I think Jay Smith, for a while, just totally challenged my thought process on my Palantir poor man's covered calls that I were playing. And he's like, hey, you should be doing this. Take your money, sell this grab this premium, wait till it dips down to 15, and buy the shares down there, or sell puts and try to get assigned. Obviously, Palantir never pulled back. So at the end of the day, my thought process, my strategy worked, but that also, on the other side of the token, doesn't mean it was correct, right? He had a great idea too. And I remember playing with the numbers, and it just didn't work for what my thesis was on everything. And maybe that same thing happens with you guys. So hopefully everything is hopeful for you guys. You know, love to pass on stuff that I know, but none of it is obviously like a recommendation telling you to make these plays or anything else. But I'm super happy to walk through any of them and my thought processes as to why I do make the plays. And hopefully you guys get to enjoy my wins and sometimes enjoy my losses too. Like when I have a huge loss and you don't, and it makes you feel better, fantastic, awesome. So, all right guys, have a great day, and let's make a lot of money.